Hey there, truth seekers. Welcome to episode 156 of the Bible Difficulties and Answers podcast. I'm Lance Smith, your guide through the winding paths of biblical mysteries, ready to tackle a puzzle that's been sparking curiosity since the days of shepherds and stone tablets. Today, we're diving into Exodus 23:19, which says simply this: you must not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. Yep, heard that right. A divine rule that sounds like it wandered out of an ancient culinary seminar gone sideways. This verse pops up 3 times in the Torah. Check Exodus 34:26 and Deuteronomy 14:21. So it's not just a fleeting scribble. Full disclosure, I had not noticed it was repeated 3 times until researching this podcast episode. I remember flipping through my notes and coffee in hand when I spotted the verse in Deuteronomy and thought, wait, this again? It's like finding an extra verse in a favorite song. Suddenly, the tune felt bigger. So is God playing chef police, or is there a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered? Let's dig in like scribes unrolling a weathered scroll, exploring the ethical, cultural, and spiritual angles to make sense of this for pastors, professors, and anyone who loves a good biblical brain bender. Imagine you're an ancient Israelite herding goats under a relentless desert sun. Moses strides with this command: no boiling baby goats in their mama's milk. Clear as a desert dawn, right? No need for a translator. As Norman Geisler and Thomas Howell note in the Big Book of Bible Difficulties, the Israelites had no trouble grasping what was off limits. The real mystery is why. They write, there was absolutely no problem in their knowing what God did not want them to do. The real problem is, why did God forbid this? It's like getting an email from your boss saying, stop CCing Linda on the weekly report, but no reason why she's off the list. Let's sift through theories like we're sorting gems from an ancient treasury. Let's start with the heart of the matter, compassion. This law might be about kindness, and it lands harder than a thunderclap in the wilderness. Picture milk, the lifeblood that keeps a baby goat frolicking, being used to cook it. That's like turning a nursery rhyme into a dirge. The Bible's got a tender side for creatures. Deuteronomy 25:4 says, don't muzzle an ox while it's working. And Deuteronomy 22:6-7 tells you to let the mama bird fly free before taking her eggs. Seeking Scripture cites Philo, an early Jewish philosopher, who saw this as a call to avoid cruelty with this: there's something cruel about twisting life-giving milk into a tool for death. Okay, it's about honoring the bond between mother and child, even among animals. This hits home today, doesn't it? Think about today's debates over factory farming. Crowding animals in harsh conditions feels like it could violate the same sort of compassion, pushing us to consider how our choices impact creation. It's a challenge to ask, are we treating God's creation with care, or are we barreling through it like a sandstorm through a tent camp? Whether it's how we source our food or steward the environment, this law urges us to choose empathy over carelessness. Now, let's shift to the historical angle, because this is where things get as gripping as a tale spun by a desert campfire. Some scholars suggest this law was a firm no thanks to pagan practices. The Armstrong Institute points to Ugaritic text from the 14th century BC found at Ras Shamra, which describes rituals involving milk and animals, though none explicitly confirm boiling a kid in its mother's milk. They note ancient Near Eastern fertility rites reportedly involved boiling a young goat in its mother's milk as an act to promote agricultural fertility. It's like finding a puzzle piece that almost fits but leaves you wanting the whole picture. God's like, my people don't play that game. This could be Israel drawing a line in the sand saying, we're not joining your idol-worshiping book club. But here's the rub. The evidence is flimsier than a papyrus in a windstorm. No ancient recipe book confirms this ritual, leaving us to wonder if this was a direct shot at pagan neighbors or a broader call to stand apart, like a lone cedar on a hilltop. Either way, it's about identity. Israel saying, we're different and we're sticking to it. Let's zoom into the spiritual side because this is where Jewish tradition steps up like a wise sage with a megaphone. Exodus 23:19 is the cornerstone of kosher law's meat and milk divide, Basar Bakalav. The Talmud in Chulin 115b and Maimonides in Mishnah Torah, Laws of Forbidden Foods 9:4, lay it out. No cooking, eating, or profiting from mixing meat and dairy. Aish explains, this verse is the root of a bigger tradition, not mixing meat and dairy at all. Why? Milk is life, meat is death, and blending them is like mixing starlight with shadows. It disrupts the divine order. GotQuestions.org elaborates. In later rabbinic Judaism, this commandment was expanded to form a blanket prohibition against combining any meat and dairy in cooking or eating. The verse's context, tied to festivals like Passover and Shavuot, suggests it's about gratitude for God's gifts. Rashi, a medieval rabbi, says it's about using milk and meat respectfully, not tossing them together like mixing paint colors into a muddy mess. Today, kosher kitchens have separate dishes, and you often wait hours, often 6, between a burger and a milkshake. It's eating as worship, turning every meal into a moment of holiness. For the faithful, this law's a reminder that even mundane choices can reflect a covenant with God. But let's not get lost in the ancient sands. There's more to unearth, like discovering hidden chambers in a pyramid. The Torah.com cites anthropologist Mary Douglas, who argues this law is about symbolic purity, keeping life and death in their own lanes, much like bans on mixing fabrics or seeds in Leviticus 19:19. They state this: the Torah frequently establishes distinctions, and mixing milk, life, with meat, death, could symbolize a taboo violation. Okay, it's about order, like keeping your scrolls neatly rolled instead of jumbled. Some propose a practical angle. Milk was precious in a desert economy, so don't waste it on cooking. The Big Book of Bible Difficulties tosses out some outliers. Maybe milk and meat were tough to digest together, or God preferred olive oil over butter. Those are intriguing possibilities, but they feel like navigating the Red Sea with a reed basket. It's plausible, but it's a stretch. Some modern thinkers get creative with this law, seeing it as a metaphor for bigger life lessons. Here's a thought-provoking twist from the Jerusalem Post. Yossi Klein suggests boiling a kid in its mother's milk is like parents forcing their kids into paths that crush their dreams. He writes this: the Torah forbids cooking a young goat in its mother's milk, meaning don't force the new generation to be consumed by the old generation's plans. Okay, it's a bit out there, like picturing a nomad trading his camel for a scroll desk, but it sparks reflection. Are we nurturing the next generation's potential, or are we boxing them into our own blueprints? The Living Faith blog keeps it simpler, saying the law avoids profaning the sacred by mixing life and death. They note it's about not profaning the sacred by mixing what shouldn't mix. GotQuestions.org adds, the kosher expansion wasn't literal in the text, but grew from rabbinic tradition to make every meal a holy act. All right, let's dig deeper into why this law matters today. For the religious, it's a call to mindfulness, turning everyday acts into worship. Keeping kosher isn't just about rules. It's about aligning your life with God's design, like tuning a harp to the perfect pitch. Imagine sitting down to eat, knowing each choice reflects your faith. It's like a prayer you can feel. This law invites believers to ask, how can we make our daily routines, eating, working, loving, a reflection of our spiritual commitments? It's not just about skipping cheeseburgers. It's about living with intention, making every moment a step toward holiness. For example, the discipline of separate dishes or waiting periods between meals can feel like a spiritual workout, strengthening your connection to God's will. For scholars, this law is a window into ancient Israel's world, like a shard of pottery revealing a lost culture. Was it a direct response to Canaanite rituals, or a broader symbol of order and identity? The repetition across Exodus and Deuteronomy suggests, possibly, different traditions, priestly, Deuteronomic, each highlighting the law's role in covenant worship or daily life. We'll actually cover this next Friday. The Torah.com notes that the law's specificity, young goat, and mother's milk might point to a precise cultural practice we've yet to fully uncover, like a missing piece of an ancient mosaic. Comparing it to other ancient codes, like the Code of Hammurabi, shows no exact parallel, making Israel's focus unique. This law invites research into how Israel carved out its identity amidst a bustling ancient Near East, like a nation staking its flag into a crowded landscape. For everyone else, this law is a gut check. Whether you're religious or not, it's about living intentionally, keeping life's elements in their proper places. Are you mixing things that don't belong? Cruelty where compassion should reign, or conformity where uniqueness matters? It's like choosing the right colors for a canvas. Some combinations just clash. The law also nudges us towards sustainability. Seeking Scripture highlights Philo's view that it's about stewardship, caring for creation with gratitude. In a world of strained resources, wasting milk on cooking feels as reckless as tossing gold into a fire. This law challenges us to consider, how do our choices, big or small, honor the gifts we're given, from the food on our table to the people in our lives? Or consider your daily grind. Maybe it's about setting boundaries, like keeping work stress from bleeding into your personal life, ensuring you're not mixing, which is stay separate. So, what's one choice in your daily life, maybe how you manage your time or treat others, that could better reflect your values? Take a moment to think about it. Let's step back and see the bigger picture. This law is like a multifaceted gem, shining differently for each viewer. For the faithful, it's a blueprint for holiness, making every meal a moment of devotion. For scholars, it's a clue to Israel's identity, a piece of their story amid a sea of ancient cultures. For the rest of us, it's a call to live with heart, to keep life's boundaries clear, whether it's about kindness, identity, or purpose. The Big Book of Bible Difficulties sums it up. The truth is that we do not know for sure why God commanded this, but it does not really matter, since the Israelites knew exactly what they were not to do. Obedience was enough, like following a star through the desert without knowing the destination. So what's the takeaway for us today? Whether you're keeping kosher, studying ancient text, or just navigating life's chaos, Exodus 23:19 asks you to pause and reflect. Are you honoring the lines that matter between compassion and cruelty, sacred and mundane, your path and someone else's? It's like choosing the right notes for a song. Don't mix discord with harmony. This ancient law still speaks, urging us to live with intention, like a shepherd guiding his flock through a starry night. Got thoughts on this? Hit up our Bible Difficulties and Answers Facebook page, or drop me a line at BibleDifficultiesandAnswers@gmail.com. If you're digging the show, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or YouTube. All episodes are parked at BibleDifficultiesAndAnswers.podbean.com. Next Friday, we're tackling another mystery. Exodus 24:4. How could Moses write this when scholars point to multiple authors? It's going to be a journey wilder than a caravan crossing the Sinai, where we'll wrestle with who really penned the Torah. Until then, keep digging, keep questioning, and maybe skip the goat milk stew, literally and figuratively. I'm Lance Smith, wishing you good luck, good health, and God bless. So long, everybody.